Yo, what's up, everybody? This is LB here, back at y'all with another one. Like, share, subscribe. Shout out to my brother Ticket TV, my Hard Nation Sports Podcast, Too Raw for TV, Black Reality TV, KQKC Boxing Network. Let's talk about this. So, there's some breaking news coming to my timeline, and I just want to say this: Who called it? Who called this shit? Me, this guy. I told you these guys need to be investigated, and look what happened. Jumping Jehoshaphat, look what happened. Now, this article is coming courtesy of the state. This is a newspaper company in Columbia, South Carolina. I remember reading this newspaper like 10 years ago when the whole incident with Mark Sanford getting lost in the Appalachian Trail, but it found out he was cheating on his wife with a girl from Argentina, and they released his whole emails or whatever like that. And the way this dude was talking to this girl, man, you thought he put the G in game. But we're not talking about Mark Sanford. We are talking about the shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery. And I told y'all that those two prosecutors, those two district attorneys needed to be under investigation. And jumping Jehoshaphat, look what happened. Stephen Brown, salute to you. Hope you're having a good night, bro. I know what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to this stuff like this. Georgia prosecutors who first handled the fatal shooting of a black man before charges were filed more than 2 months later were placed under investigation today for their conduct in the case, which has fueled a national outcry and questions about whether the slaying was racially motivated. Georgia's Attorney General Chris Carr announced that he asked the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and federal authorities to investigate how local prosecutors handled the killing of a 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery, who was first pursued by a white father and son before being shot on a residential street just outside the port city of Brunswick. Justice Department spokesman Carrie Kupek said federal prosecutors had asked Carr to share any results. Federal officials also considering whether hate crime charges are warranted, because we talked talked about a couple days ago. What's up, Ryan Clark? What's up with you, man? Salute to you, homie. That's 100 because they brought the DO because Georgia don't have any statutes when it comes to hate crime, so they brought in the federal government to assist in this matter. Now, Johnson said Glenn County police contacted two of her assistant prosecutors on the day of the shooting, seeking legal advice. She said her assistants immediately responded they cannot get involved because of the conflict of interest. Now, that was she claimed. That's what this woman claimed. But, you know, reading between the lines, this woman here is full of shit, because there are reports out saying how this woman was protecting Gregory with Michael. You know what I'm saying? There's reports out about how this dude wouldn't qualify to even shoot a gun. This dude wouldn't even qualify to do investigations. But yet he's an investigator in her office. I'm telling you, man, this is the good old boy network right here. This cronyism that's going on right now, I'm telling you, this is crazy. Now, if you notice, you know how these guys is guilty, because they keep on trying to change their defense story. First, it was about a rash of break-ins. Then it was about self-defense. But my question is, how could it be self-defense when y'all ran the guy down? Y'all basically had the man cornered like he was a fucking raccoon. And he had to fight. Then y'all tried to claim citizens arrest. But this the thing. You can't claim citizens arrest. One, no crime's been committed, right? And at the very least, and I'm saying at the very least, that could have been trespassing. So you go to court, you get cited, you go to court, you pay a fine, and then we all get to move on, right? But even then, when that video came out, he looked at the house. When he was just looking at the house, that was much ado about nothing. You know how many people that go to that house all the time just to look? So why did he stand out? That's the question I have. Why the fuck did he stand out? I'm pretty sure there was more people that went to that house to look at it. And there was nothing in there to take. What the fuck was in there to take? Her ass should be disbarred. What's up, Sports 101 TJ? They had no business even encountering that man because, for one, they had no authority to make an arrest. You cannot make a citizen's arrest. The example of a citizen's arrest is say like you was in there at a Winn-Dixie or at a Piggly Wiggly or at a Publix. Hell, you can go to even Walmart. What's up, Marco Hinton? If someone spotted you shoplifting, then at that point you can claim citizen's arrest. And the only thing you can do is detain them until the cops get there. And you are not allowed to use any force that is greater than necessary to to detain the individual. And nowhere in that scenario that citizen's arrest applied there. Their ass is right to be where they are right now. Hope their fucking asses rot. Exactly, Ryan Clark. That's exactly my point. Of all these other people that was in the house, then why they ain't going after them with the same vitriol they went after the Ahmaud Arbery? Right? Now, let's go back to the first defense that they tried to claim when they came to the there's all this rash of break-ins, right? The last incident was on January 1st. January 1st. So, and that particular incident, their truck was broken into and the gun was taken out the car. But this is the problem. They left the fucking door open. They left the truck door unlocked. So if over all these rash of break-ins, why the fuck is your truck not locked? More and more shit just comes out every day. Let's keep going. Documents in the file, because this is a file that came out. Right? Let's go back. Let's go back. According to personnel records, this is the juicy shit right here, man. That's this gushy pussy type shit right here, man. According to personnel records obtained Tuesday by the Associated Press, the elder Michael worked for Johnson's office from November 1995 through May 2019. He consistently got performance reviews. But in 2014, the Peace Officer Standards and Training Council notified the DA's office that in 5 years since 2005, Gregory Michael had either failed to do enough training hours or failed to take mandatory firearms or use of deadly force classes. What's up, Eric Ocasio? What's up, man? Salute to you. So you know what happens when you don't meet your hours and you fail to take the mandatory class for firearms training? Your license gets stripped. So this dude wasn't even supposed to be carrying firearms as a police officer, right? When I was in the military, right? Anybody in the military can attest to this, right? You go through weapons training. Salute to the Elder Rufus, man. Salute to you, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the entire LDBC, man, Lions Den basketball community. Appreciate you for entering the chat, Elder Rufus, man. Now let's keep going. Hey, Elder, what part of Georgia you at? Let me know what part of Georgia you at. You know what I'm saying? I might have to bring you in so you can talk about this from your vantage point. Salute, Terim Melton. Thank you for entering the chat, man. Really do appreciate it. Okay, you in Northwest? Hey, if I give you a link, you talk about it from your vantage point because you're the closest to it. Oh, that happened in Southeast? Okay. Yeah, that's the link right there, Elder. Go ahead and click that now. Come on in. Now, the results that he had technically lacked arrest power. This dude didn't even have the authority to fucking arrest anybody. This dude didn't even have the authority to arrest anybody. So how the fuck can he sit up there and be some investigator for a DA's office? If anything, this dude should have been a fucking meter maid. Straight up. This dude should have been at the desk pushing papers, or at the very least walking the streets with his fat ass. You probably can't even see the belt. Goddamn pushing up tickets and shit. Or you in there, Ryan Clark? Hey, click that link and hop on in. I put a link to the chat. What up, Elder?
Bless you, LB. How you doing, brother?
Hey, bless you too, my brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm just chilling, man. I got a star in my eye right now, so I can't. You know, I don't want nobody to see my defect.
I hate to. Yeah,
all right, man. So, what the hell going on out in GA, man?
Man, it's a mess, and you know, they can tell that the way the evidence is stacking up against the Ahmaud Arbery brother, they can already tell that it's set up for these guys, these white guys to get off. So the people are going crazy down in Georgia now because they don't want these guys to get off. But the way the law is set up and the way that all this evidence is pouring in, you know, with him trespassing on the thing, and then, you know, the citizens arrest laws and stuff. You know, you probably have seen a bunch of the different videos people are putting out. I know there's a brother cop out there. I can't remember what his name is. And he's kind of got a good presence on YouTube, but he been putting out a bunch of this evidence. And he was like, it don't look like they're going to get convicted. Not in this. And the only thing you can even charge them for really is going to be manslaughter. You know, if you go first degree, second degree, they definitely going to get off. Manslaughter is the only thing you're going to have a chance at. But the way the law's set up, it looked like they're going to get off. So the people ain't happy. They ain't happy at all down here.
Hey, man. Look, I'll tell you when the fix was in, when that motherfucker S. Lee Merritt decided to stick his nose in the affair. You know what I'm saying? Now, for those of you who don't know who S. Lee Merritt is, this is the same dude that handled the Amber Geiger murder case. When she broke into that man's house in Texas, this dude sitting at home eating ice cream, she broke into his house and shot him dead. And then she tried to claim that, oh, it was the wrong floor. Bitch, you can't fucking count. You can't count to 3.
Yeah. That stuff be crazy, man. And it's just sad, man. But, you know, I take a total different approach than a lot of people take. And Ticket, he's real familiar with the lifestyle that we live. You know, I live way out in the country, bro. I live way out in the country. You just hear crickets and dogs barking and frogs and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And birds. But
Yeah.
but again, I like the solitude of it. I like the peace of it. And the people out here and the cops out here are totally different than the cops that are in the cities and all that kind of stuff. So, but my thing is this: you have a constitutional right to protect yourself, and I think everybody should carry a gun. I really do, especially if you got melanated skin. And I mean, I don't go nowhere without a gun 3 feet away from me. Period. You know what I mean? And everybody that's around me, everybody that's in contact with me, we train them and teach them to do the same thing. So, you know, which, you know, like say this brother really was out jogging, he should have had a gun on him. You know what I'm saying? You can't take your fist to a shotgun fight. You just can't. And, you know, I saw him scrapping for his life, but I don't know too many people with fists is going to be the shotgun. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, see,
And
in Georgia, open carry state.
it is. You can open carry in Georgia. You definitely
Yeah.
can.
See, but even then, look, we already know. Look. As far as I'm concerned, these bastards should be in jail forever. But man, I just don't, man. For some reason, man, I keep thinking in the back of my head, man, I smell a fucking rat. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, I'm going by what I have seen that's been available to me. You know, the 3 different videotapes, the 2 different 911 calls. You know what I mean? And when you add all that stuff up, I'm telling you, I was telling people a while before it. I was like, man, when it first came out and I started seeing the different stuff, I said the way these laws is here, they're gonna be able to prove self-defense. Because when you look at the tape, you know what I mean? He's running. He goes around that truck. When he comes around that end, of course, he sees a man there with a shotgun. What are you gonna do? You're gonna defend yourself. But it's gonna look to them 12 like he was the aggressor. And they're going to say self-defense. They're going to say it. I'm telling you, they're going to say it. And when these guys get off, they're going to tear that whole, because that's down there by Savannah. They're going to tear that whole region up, bro. And it's going to probably spark something national. I'm telling you, it's going to spark something national because the public is judging this thing. Because again, these bookers was walking around for 74 days scot-free, nothing. If it wasn't for the public, them boogers wouldn't have been, they wouldn't have been locked up. But that attorney said the only reason he released it was because he saw how it was brewing just in that area. He said they was going to riot in that area, and that's what made him release the tape, because he didn't want them to riot and tear up that whole area. So now we got like the Black Panthers down there and all that kind of stuff now, man. It's just like, man, I'm on the defense. I'm on the defense. You see what I'm saying? They done shown me enough to where I'm not finna go in and expect this criminal justice system. I mean, it's just what it is. The criminals are the only ones that get justice, because they the major criminals. These boogers we dealing with, the judicial system, all of them, they the real gangsters. You know what I'm saying? And they the only ones getting justice. So I don't expect a fair trial. I don't expect them to treat me fair. Well, shoot, think about it. They don't even consider us citizens, man. You know what I'm saying? You got melanated skin, you ain't even really considered a citizen. So I'm gonna protect myself. And if it go down, I would much rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. You know what I mean?
Amen to that. You know what I'm saying? Amen to that. But like I said, man, the fix is in, man. I mean, when they got S. Lee Merritt on the fucking case, man, and you didn't really heard too much from the family, you know what I'm saying? I just think the fix is in.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be like that. Justice should be for everybody, no matter what color your skin is. But the fact of the matter is, justice is not blind. We see double standards all the fucking time. I mean, look at 45 right now. 45 does all this bullshit and gets away with it. But yet, if you do the same thing even remotely, you can't even do like 1% of this what this motherfucker did, and your ass going to jail for life.
Well, here's the key. What is the definition of insanity? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. We've been seeing this. You see what I'm saying? So I think it's for us, for me, and my people, man, we stupid. We dumb to sit here and think we're going to force them when it's been, 400 years? We're going to force them to do what is right by us. And then, I'm a Bible believing biblical brother, so I understand things even from that perspective. But I just think from what's been presented to us as a people, for you to think that after all these years, all of a sudden it's going to change, you're the fool. You're the fool. So that's why I tell folk, man, you better protect yourself. I don't care what your background is. I really don't. I don't care what your background is. I don't care if you're a felon. I don't care what you are. You better protect yourself. You better protect your family. Because at the end of the day, when it's going down, especially if you're a real man, your family going to be looking at you. Your friends going to be looking at you. And this is why I instruct them. This is why we instruct them in our ministry to do and protect yourself. Man, my wife, the sisters that live around me, they can't even leave by themselves. I don't even let women go out by themselves. The women that are around me that live here on the land that we have and stuff, they can't go by themselves. They go out early in the morning to do what they got to do. When only old people are out. But it still takes two of them, and both of them are going to be strapped, and sometimes double strapped. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, and they know, they train. They have been trained. You shoot, you empty out that 12, 15, 17 round clip you got. If he breathing, he's a threat. Scream like you're scared. You know what I'm saying? We'll deal with the rest later. And don't talk to nobody till we get there.
Yep.
That's just how you got to train them, man.
I just know for me personally, my military background and all that, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, look, I'm going to use my military training. I'm like, look.
Yep.
And I'm like, when all lesser means have failed, and I got, and that individual meet the deadly force triangle, he going down.
Man, in our ministry, our three main trainers, one is a ranger, retired ranger. The other is a retired SEAL, and the other one is a retired airborne trooper. So you can imagine the training that we get. You can imagine. That's what we get, and we train it to everybody.
Yeah,
the brothers, the women,
how to shoot, all that.
Man, I'm going to the range Thursday. I stay on the range weekly, man. You just got to. You got to, man. In this hour, you just have to. And again, I blame it on us, man. I really do. I blame it on us. We can't sit here and keep pounding on the same door, expecting it to fall down. It's a steel door. You can't get through it. So you just got to be prepared for what you have seen that is coming. Again, if that's me running down the street, I promise you, this story that y'all be talking about would be totally different. I'd have been in jail, because with us, we ain't getting no 74-day vacation. I'd have been in jail, but it'd have been
arrested right there.
Two white guys laying on that street dead. It'd have been two white guys laying on that street dead. Because if I'm coming up the street and I see a booker standing in the back of a truck and he got a gun, that's a threat. And I'm trained to eliminate the threat, period. We'll deal with the rest later. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I would not have fit that mold of a statistic that day. And they would be getting my story, not these guys' story. And that's how we train and bring our people up. Again, I live out here in the country because I want a quiet, peaceful life. You know what I'm saying? That crap going on in the cities, man, I see it. And I got too many cop brothers and buddies, man, that I wouldn't want to be a cop, definitely not in the city. Wouldn't. It's just too hostile. It just is, man. But out here, I can live free. I can be self-sufficient. I can take care of my family. And I got so much less to deal with. Now, when I need something in the city, I got the right to go up in there. You know what I mean? I got businesses. I got like 4 businesses. We go in the city and work. I go in there and work. Now I come my butt back out here, though. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. But while we up in there, I'm protected. I promise you we are. Every single one of us are. We're protected, man. And again, we cannot expect them to do something different when they've showed us this for hundreds of years. We're the fools to think that something's going to really, truly change on this end. We really are.
What really pisses me off about all this, right? You know what I'm saying? Every time an unarmed black man gets gunned down or whatever like that, and all we do is sing "We Shall Overcome" and keep alive and all this bullshit. Man, fuck that.
You right. You 100% right. And see, I don't believe in none of that.
You
I don't
just sit up
believe
here
in
and
none of
talk
that.
about lift every voice and sing. Fuck that
Man,
shit.
blow that. Lighting a candle my ass. I'm telling you right now, if you singing, if you ain't got a gun, you ain't protesting.
I
You
mean,
just complaining. You
the
just
people that
complaining.
sing up there and sing that shit, man, they're part of the problem.
Hey,
In
you
my
saw what
opinion,
happened. You saw what happened in Michigan, right? When they stormed the state house with
yeah,
guns.
them dudes in there with guns and shit. Did they
They
do
didn't
anything?
bother them either.
No.
They didn't bother them at all. And I think it just went down somewhere else recently, where they showed up to one of the places and they had AR strapped to their back. And man, you show up with guns, them boogers gonna back off. I promise you they will. But you show up with signs and candles and vigils, them boogers gonna end up spraying you.
Yeah, and
That's what they're
some
gonna end
damn
up doing.
bull, and you know you got some loud mouth with a bullhorn out there. Yeah, we got to
Man,
go out there and step up. I'm like, man, step up for what? Did you see the
no.
report about people running 2.5 miles for this for the Arbery? My thing is, if you ain't running to the fucking incident, if you ain't running to confront those motherfuckers, why the fuck are you running?
Yeah, I mean, again, people that again, they get into the exact thing that they want them to get into. You know, they still listen to Martin Luther King. I'm more Malcolm X. Bump that by any means necessary. And not that I have an issue with Martin Luther King, but at the end of the day, that's why they killed him, because he realized, man, this nonviolent approach, it ain't working. It
Yeah,
ain't working.
you
It
can't go
ain't
up there
working.
talking nonviolence with the motherfuckers you confronting are violent.
Man, and again, there you go. These are the real gangsters and the real criminals, and we understand that. So at the end of the day, you have a responsibility as a man to take care of your family, to take care of your loved ones, and you should train them up in the way they should go. And the way they should go is protect themselves against all forms of evil, foreign and domestic. I know you know what I'm talking about on that. Foreign
Exactly,
and
you know what
domestic.
you're talking about.
Yeah. So that's how we roll, bro. And again, I mean, I hate this stuff from my people. I do. But my people, to me, we the ones that perpetuate this, man, because we keep putting ourselves in these situations and we're never prepared. We're never prepared for these situations. And then I look at these and then see, I got another opinion that a lot of people don't want to hear. I look at these situations and the majority of them, not every single one, but the majority of them, there's always some excuse to allow him to come in, like him going and looking around this thing. Now, we contractors, we builders, right? So my brothers tell me all the time, they see a new build, they'll walk right into it, see the new design, see what people doing different. You see what I'm saying? But that's an excuse for them to come and do something. Hey, you trespassing, you own that house. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if you strap and you prepare, hey, just here looking, checking out the architect, get out of my way. You don't want to get out the way, you could be the statistic today. Because I'm going home. Now I may have to go home to a sale, but I'm going home.
Yeah, man. You know. Now going along with this article here, they say documents in the file show that he failed again to complete mandatory training in 2018 and relinquished his certification, serving out his final few months with the DA as a non-sworn liaison to law enforcement agencies in the counties. So
Man.
if you're not in the law enforcement or whatever, if you're in law enforcement, you can't carry a gun. You can't serve out arrest. What the fuck are you doing in the DA's office? At the very least, at the very most, you should be out pushing tickets. You should
The
be out there
rules,
pushing parking tickets.
the rules do not apply to them like that, though,
Yeah,
bro.
the rule.
And you
But
know that.
see, that goes back to what I said earlier in the video. She
Mhm.
protected this guy.
Yeah, yeah. I saw the title. That's what made me jump in there. I saw the title and I said, oh man. And I hadn't heard this part because I've been busy today. But
Yeah.
I already knew they was going to investigate her. But I'm gonna tell you right now, ain't nothing gonna happen. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Because again, when they start presenting their facts, that like I said, the videos, when they present the 911 calls and they present the Georgia state laws, it's gonna match what she did. It's gonna match why they're gonna want to let them off. The pressure is gonna come from the public opinion. That's where the pressure is gonna come. So they're gonna try to say, look, I know these guys should be free, but the public, this is gonna tear the country up. We're just coming out of Corona. What can we do? I'm telling you,
Coming out, Corona, we
I
still
don't.
in that
Yeah,
motherfucker.
we're still in it. I don't think they're gonna be able to talk these boogers into taking a manslaughter charge. And here's the mudslinging all on, and everything coming on Arbery side, man. They don't want to hear that. Everything coming on these white, they don't want to hear that. At the end of the day, they're gonna deal with them what they consider their facts. Bump intent, they're gonna consider their facts, what they call facts. And when they look at it, they ain't gonna convict them boogers, man. They're gonna try to let them off. But this one is a little bit bigger than some of the other ones. Some of the Freddie Gray, all that is a little bit bigger. You know what I mean? This one is national. So they know this ain't just gonna tear up a certain little section of Georgia. You know what I mean? This finna get serious. And you already got people on pins and needles because they've been locked up in the house for the last 3 months. You know what I mean? So I don't know how they're gonna spin this. I really don't. I know they are concerned. I know that, just like you said, the spin is definitely on. It is definitely on. So I'm gonna sit back and watch. But I know out here, see where I live at, it ain't gonna affect me. I'm gonna just tell you right now. I don't live close enough. I mean, I'm 2 hours away from Atlanta. I ain't gonna hear that. You see what I'm saying? I ain't gonna hear it. I'm 2.5 hours from Birmingham. I ain't gonna hear it where I'm at. You know what I mean? So it'll be peaceful out here.
Yeah.
Man.
This leads me into something else I want to talk about really quick. You know what I'm saying? So, in case y'all don't know, Jay-Z has spoken out against this case, right? But this the thing. Jay-Z speaking out about this is not more than a smokescreen, considering that he fucking signed the Tekashi Snitch 9. This is another thing here in the black community we got to be careful about. Moles in the community.
Man, LB, boy, you really getting into some stuff tonight.
I'm talking about moles in the community. You got guys that think they're for us, but they're not with us. That old saying, all skin folk and kin folk, rings true to this day.
They for that green. That's the only color they care about, bro. The
only reason Jay-Z spoken out about this is because this has gotten national attention.
Yep. And everybody, think about it. Anybody you ask black that's popular or famous, what they gonna say? They gotta be with it. You know what I mean? If not, it's gonna hurt their look. It's gonna hurt their brand. It's gonna hurt their bottom dollar. You know what I mean? It's gonna hurt their bottom dollar. So, but overall, man, they don't want to get involved in this kind of stuff because they know it's gonna be a hit to their pocketbook, and that's to their pockets, and that's the number one thing they care about is their pockets.
But see, this is the thing though. When you got white supremacy actually fueling your daily bread,
yeah,
you're gonna get this type of result.
Yep.
If you were self-made and got your own money or whatever like that, and the white paymaster's not responsible for your daily bread, then you can be more bold and whatever like that. You could be more liberal. But when you got white paymasters that's like, hey, look, you better calm this shit down or else you got that deal that we're gonna pull, then motherfuckers gonna backtrack because at the end of the day, just like you said, it's about the bottom line and the bottom dollar.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate because, it's just the curses being perpetuated. And we're going to always have these type that, we label them as like sellouts. We're going to always have these types because they are selling out their community and what is right. They're selling out righteousness so that they can make their money and keep their lifestyle. And, and again, I still put it on us regular folk. Us regular melanated people, I put it on us. When we have seen this type of behavior, even from our own people, why do we support that stuff? Why do we back them? Why do we go behind them? Just because you black? No, I'm for right. I'm for what is right. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, do I love my people? No doubt. But if you're wrong, you're wrong. And at the end of the day, I'm standing for what's right. And we see these things and we just support it blindly and don't care. Then when these things happen, then we want to cry and complain and moan and well, he didn't this and he didn't do that. Why'd you expect? He ain't never done that. It's like, with the Jordan stuff going on now with these this Last Dance and all this kind of stuff. Everybody's seeing Jordan. Man, I've been knowing Jordan was that way for decades. You see what I'm saying? Jordan ain't never cared about the black folk. He ain't never cared about the black folk. But now you tripping. Now you tripping because it's coming to more reality.
All the stuff that's talked about ain't nothing new. It might be limited to a whole bunch of other people because, you know, as time goes by and, you know, the information just, you know, the longer the longer time goes, I mean, the more deteriorated the quality of information gets, unless you get a documentary like this. Now, this is the woman that's supposed to be appointed to prosecute the murder in the Ahmaud Arbery case, but you know, I'm looking at her with eagle eyes, man. But just because, like I said, all skin folks and kin folk, I'm not gonna sit up here and pass judgment about the woman because I don't fucking know her. But I'm watching her with extreme caution.
Her hands are tied, bro. I don't have to know her. I just know this system. Her hands are tied. She can press
you know, her
blacks all she wants.
She's
That's a
appointed
good
by
front.
all
That's
these
a good
palm colored
front.
people.
That's a good front.
By these palm colored people.
Yeah, that's a good front to put a black woman up there. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, her hands is tied. Her hands is tied. And I'm telling you, once they start putting all this, what they consider facts out there, because they're not going to deal with the intent of what these brothers have, which we already know what their intent is. They don't have no problem mowing us down. They don't have no problem with that. But when they put them what they consider to be facts, and I got to keep saying it that way, what they consider to be facts, man, I don't see it. I don't know what charge they're going to, because I know it ain't murder one. I know it ain't two. The only thing that could potentially get them will be manslaughter, and I don't see how you can do that with these stand your ground laws and all this kind of stuff. I don't see how you're gonna get it, because once you engage with somebody and you fighting, you got a right to survive. You got a right to stand your ground. I don't see how they're gonna do it. It's gonna be interesting to see how they try to spin this. It really is. Because they know this thing is gonna blow up. It's gonna blow up on the whole country. They ain't gonna be just something down here in Georgia. This thing gonna blow up everywhere.
Man,
it's gonna blow up everywhere. They can't walk free. They can't.
No, they cannot walk free. I'm telling you right now, if they walk free, it's gonna be, man, I'm telling you right now, the whole city of Brunswick need to be on fucking standby.
Well, they are. That's why he released the video, because Brunswick was tripping. But again, that's a small corner of the country. You see what I'm saying? Just like when the what's the name happened here, I think one of the most recent things was when it happened down in St. Louis. They was tearing St. Louis up. It wasn't affecting New York, wasn't affecting LA, wasn't affecting Atlanta, wasn't affecting New Orleans, Houston. You see what I'm saying? That's a small sector. So yeah, tear up one city that's already tore up. But this here, I think this one gonna be bigger, and it's gonna be definitely the nation. So it's gonna be something to see how they spend this. It's gonna be something to see how they spend this. It's like they're gonna have to do something else to these guys to bring in charges. They ain't gonna get it just from this case. They're gonna have to do something else. You know, they got to pin something else on these cats to even get charges. And I still don't think, even if they go to jail, it ain't gonna be nothing crazy. They ain't finna get no 20, 30, 40 years. They ain't finna get that. They ain't finna get a murder charge. That's they're not finna get. Because what's manslaughter? What you get for manslaughter? 4, 5 years, something like that?
No, it depends. You probably get like between 10 and 20 for manslaughter.
Really?
Yeah. Manslaughter. You know, it's not just some 5-year bid. It depends on what type of manslaughter it is.
Yeah, and see, like I said, manslaughter and self-defense, because it's gonna be hard for them not to prove. You're gonna get 12 people. 12 people in the Brunswick area down there. They're not gonna look at that tape and say, "Man, the guy was." It didn't look. They can't say it wasn't self-defense as he's backing up with his rifle and the guy's running towards him. I'm telling you, man, that what they consider facts, it bows to what they said. It really
does. But of course they're gonna ignore the part where they actually ran the guy down.
Yeah,
they're gonna ignore that part. Let's ignore the part. We chased the guy down the street, causing him to engage us in the first place. We're just going to ignore all that.
Which again, laws. See, this is where the Georgia laws come in, because they didn't, they put the truck up in front of him and they stopped it in the middle of the road.
They had no right to do that. They had absolutely no right to do that.
They didn't break no laws though. But I'm going by. I'm trying to be the kind of like a devil advocate here. But when you go with these laws in Georgia, they ain't broke no laws. They can park. They can put that. They might have had a citation, like a infraction, parking in the middle of the street, and then even getting out, because people say, "Well, they out with guns. What are you supposed to do?" Again, Georgia laws. You can walk around with a shotgun if you want to. You can walk around with a pistol in your hand if you want. And then another thing gonna hurt is you remember the dad was in the back of the truck. You could see his gun, his pistol out, but he was also on the cell phone calling 911. See, that was the 114 call. They had a call that came in at 108. They had another call that came in at 114. And the dad's call, when you tie what he's saying and then what's happening, I'm telling you, I don't see them getting 12 jurors to say, nah, they murdered this boy. I don't see it. I just don't see it. And I see the country going ballistic. I see the country going ballistic. I really do. Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll just have to see how this plays out. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and make any drawing conclusions or whatever like that, but I will be watching with eagle eyes. I promise you that.
I'm gonna stay on top of it myself. I'm gonna stay on top of it. I'm glad I'm where I'm at. I ain't on front. I'm glad I'm way out here because these cities gonna be on fire, bro. These cities are gonna be on fire. I'm telling you. If them boogers get acquitted, ooh wee, I would not want to be nowhere close to one of these cities, man. Because they're gonna set these boogers, especially all the cities that's got black folk in them anyways. All the major cities, they're gonna set them boogers on fire. I'm telling you. Especially down here in the South.
Yeah.
Boy. Man, LB, I got to get out of here, though, man. I appreciate you having me on the show, my brother.
Yeah, man, no problem, man. Yeah, I'm about to end the stream anyway. I'm going to hop on Ticket platform real quick, you know what I'm saying? Talk some basketball before I go to bed.
Cool. But bless you, my brother. Stay encouraged.
Bless you too, man. Really do appreciate it, man.
No problem. Shalom.
Peace. All right, man. Smash the like, hit subscribe, man. I'm out of here, man. Hey!